All right, good morning, sixth graders. Today is Friday, November 6th. The question we're going to be answering today is, how did Islam begin? You have two review questions on the top of your page. Were the Romans polytheistic or monotheistic? And why did the Roman government want its people to believe that the emperor was a god? Go ahead and pause the video to answer these two questions. Muhammad was born in the Arab trading and pilgrimage city of Mecca, in the Arabian Peninsula, which is located in the Middle East near Mesopotamia and Egypt. Muhammad was born between 570 and 580 AD. His parents were part of a family of traders, not among the ruling families of Mecca, but certainly not poor either. Muhammad himself, however, grew up poor because both his parents died when he was still very young. Question 1. How many years after Jesus' birth was Muhammad born? And doing a Google search, just to remind us, guys, we use a Christian calendar, which means that the BC years ended when Jesus was born. So that means Jesus was born in the year 1 BC or the year 0. Historians are still trying to figure out actually which year he was born. It's not exactly known to people the exact year that Jesus was born, but we do know that his birthday was December 25th. So we're going to go ahead and call it year 0. Pause the video to answer question 1. When he grew up, Muhammad married a wealthy widow named Khadijah, whose first husband had been a trader, and so he became wealthy again. He likely became a trader himself. When Muhammad was almost 40, he said he had heard an angel from God speaking to him for the first time. Although he didn't know it at the time, this was similar to what Abraham and Moses had both experienced. The angel, Gabriel, told Muhammad that there was only one God and that it was wicked to worship idols, which are statues and images of gods. You see, the people of Mecca were polytheistic, and Muhammad grew up believing in many gods. The angel Gabriel told him that the end of the world was coming soon, and with the last judgment. Muhammad also heard Gabriel telling him the words of the Quran. Muhammad began to preach the words of the Quran to other people in Mecca. The Quran taught that there is one God called Allah, and this God is the same God as for Christians and Jews. Question 2 asks, what is the Quran? Question 3 asks, how did Muhammad find out the words of the Quran? Question 4 asks, what is the Muslim name for God? Pause the video to answer now. At first, the Meccans seem to have felt that Muhammad's preaching was harmless, but later, as he got more support with the lower classes and really began to say that people should not worship the old gods, the upper-class Meccans threw Muhammad out of town. People beat up and even killed his followers, who began to be called Muslims. Some of them fled to Ethiopia in Africa. Muhammad himself fled to the nearby town of Medina, a city in Saudi Arabia. Question 5. What are Muhammad's followers called? Question 6. Where did Muhammad escape to? pause the video to answer these now. Muhammad gathered a following in Medina. In 630 AD, he returned to Mecca with an army and conquered it. After he won another victory against Arabic tribes in 630 AD, other Arabic tribes began to send messengers to Muhammad to say that they would submit to his rule, because he was so successful that he must have God on his side. By the time of Muhammad's death, he had successfully spread Islam throughout the Middle East. He used his powerful military force to spread the word of God by force.